Good afternoon, friends. Satyam Vada Dharmachara, Satyamev Jayate. Welcome to a news desk on income tax, GST, and corporate laws. Let's start from the income tax. Supreme Court held in a case that source of fund from which expenditure is incurred is not relevant while allowing deduction for business purposes. Supreme Court held in this case that where disbursement of the grant was held to be core business of appellant corporation, expenditure incurred in course of business and for purpose of business would naturally be an allowable deduction under section 37 subsection 1. Source of funds from which expenditure is made is not relevant. It is also not really relevant as to whether expenditure is incurred out of the corpus fund or from interest income earned by appellant corporation. Further, merely because grant benefit of a third party, it would not render disbursement as application of income and not expenditure. Thus, every application of income towards business objective of appellant corporation is a business expenditure and nothing else. Second case, Karnataka High Court. Karnataka High Court held that interest paid to the creditor deductible from the fixed deposit interest as it was made out of the surplus arose from the restructuring process. In this case, the purpose of the expenditure is relevant in determining the applicability of section 57 subsection 3 and purpose must be making and earning income, whereas per the scheme of the arrangement approved by the High Court, assessee was utilized as a special purpose vehicle for purpose of distribution of the surplus after clearance of the debts of a company. Since process of settlement was continuing, surplus was deposited as fixed deposit in banks which earn interest. Since assessee, in order to cover cost of interest payable to creditors for unpaid period, invested surplus in fixed deposit and earn interest which was paid to lender or creditor. There was close nexus between the interest paid to creditors on unpaid balance and interest earned on deposit. Assessee was entitled to section 57 subsection 3 deduction. CBDT issued notification on 11 September notifying L&T Infra Debt Fund for the purpose of section 10 clause 47 exemption. CBDT has notified L&T Infra Debt Fund for the purpose of section 10 clause 47 of Income Tax Act 1961. Exemption shall be available if infrastructure debt fund shall comply the provision of the Income Tax Act 1961 along with the rule 2 of the income tax rules and the condition provided by the RBI. Let's start on news on GST. AAR Rajasthan provision of accommodation services is mandatory for claiming GST rate of the 5% available to tour operator. Where SSC was a sub-tour operator engaged in the business of the providing tour services to tourists, which were identified by main tour operator, wherein SSC was providing services such as local transportation services along with services like elephant ride, lunch, dinner, local sightseeing, etc. Since SSC was rendering only transportation services along with some ancillary services and not any accommodation services provided by the SSC would not fall under the purview of the serial number 23(1) chapter heading 9985 of the notification number 11 upon 2017 central tax rate dated 28th June 2017 as amended and rate of 5% GST was not applicable. RBI letter reference dated 11 September 2020, RBI issued norms on the compliance function in banks and role of the compliance officer in a bank. As part of the robust compliance system, banks are required to have an effective compliance culture, independent corporate compliance function, and a strong compliance risk management program at bank and group levels. Such an independent compliance function is required to be headed by a designated chief compliance officer. Therefore, the RBI has come up with the framework on compliance function in banks and role of the chief compliance officer. If you need notification, please email or message on my WhatsApp number. Uh, in banking, Guwahati High Court stops trial against petitioner in check dishonoring case as they were note director at time of issue of the check. In this case, where on date offense under section 138 was deemed to have been committed due to dishonor of the check, dated 22nd October 2018, petitioner were note directors in accused number 1 company, and they could not be held responsible for conduct of its affairs, and for that matter for issuance and dishonor of the checks under reference. Hence, if criminal proceeding was allowed to proceed against petitioner, it would amount to abuse of the process of court, resulting in prejudice to petitioner. Thus, inherent powers of the High Court under section 482 CRPC were to be invoked to stop trial against petitioner. Section 141 of the Negotiable Instrument Act has envisages vicarious liabilities on part of the directors or other person mentioned therein of company who were in charge of and responsible for conduct of the affairs of the company at the time of commission of offense. A person would be vicariously liable for the commission of offense under section 138 by company only in event condition laid down under section 141 are satisfied. Thank you, friends. Thank you for watching a news desk on the income tax, GST, and corporate law. We are trying to compile or other allied laws, including international taxation, transfer pricing, HEMA, labor laws, insolvency bankruptcy code, and other area which are relevant for the daily updation. So please share among the professional colleagues and students so that they can get a regular updation on income tax, GST, corporate laws, and other allied laws. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.